Dear Ukrainian Catholic faithful, Slava Isus Christou, glory be to Jesus Christ. I'm Bishop David with the Ukrainian Catholic Eparchy of Edmonton. Many of us were saddened when we recently learned that the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Ukrainian Catholic Parish in Calgary had been vandalized by individuals acting on their own, not once but twice, alongside many other Roman Catholic and other Christian parishes throughout Calgary. While the Ukrainian Catholic Church in Canada never ran residential schools, we can relate to the pain and suffering that our Indigenous brothers and sisters are enduring in the recent recovery of the graves of hundreds of children found in several cemeteries in Western Canada. The Ukrainian community readily acknowledges that if it were not for the help of the Indigenous peoples, our ancestors would not have survived those first harsh winters in the late 1890s when Ukrainian immigration to Canada began, nor what medicines to use, nor how to navigate the land. The story of the meeting of our two peoples is most recently told in Song and Dance in the 2018 Ukrainian Shumka Dancers Ancestors and Elders production, a story of strength and sacred bond among two peoples. Dear faithful, the Indigenous peoples in Canada now need our prayers, support and action as they seek truth and reconciliation regarding the tragedy of residential schools. If for no other reason, we can relate to their suffering and loss, for we too know suffering and loss. Millions of our people were starved to death intentionally under the Soviet communist regime in the Holodomor genocide of 1932-1933. In Canada during World War I, thousands of our people were taken away from their families, stripped of all their possessions and held in some 24 internment camps as enemy aliens, some whose burial sites are still unknown. And since 2014, some 13,000 have died and 30,000 wounded in the forgotten war in eastern Ukraine at the hands of Russian aggressors. Dear parishioners of Assumption Parish, Calgary, I share in the hurt and pain caused you by the recent vandalism at your holy place of worship. And I pray that words of peace and reconciliation prevail over criminal acts of vandalism and hate. Dear Ukrainian Catholic faithful, but now above all, it is a time to listen attentively to our Indigenous brothers and sisters, no matter how painful the reality of residential schools. They must speak, we must listen. Only then will truth be told and heard with the hope of reconciliation and a strengthening of the bond of our two peoples. May God bless us as we listen attentively to the Word of God and to each other's stories. May together we be agents of truth and reconciliation, working to make the world a better place. Slava Isus Christou, glory be to Jesus Christ.